Hi, this is Brian McHenry of McHenry Software. This video is a demonstration of some of the new features we've added to the msmac3D system. We now have, or have had, but have not actually made videos of it, an animation capability and a animulation capability in addition to our 3D simulation capability. We see in this particular video here, which is my first project, we had the original two cars striking, the green and blue car that strike and the one rolls over. Then we also have a couple of animations, which is the green van that just went off to the right and a yellow Mustang. And then there's a brown car which jumps down off of the ridge and reacts with the terrain. And then a green car which runs up the ridge and reacts with the terrain. That is what is called animulation, which is a combination of animation and simulation. And we're going to go and show you how to use each of these. First, how they work in this particular video that you're seeing, and then we'll go ahead and add a couple to show you the steps required. If we actually move down here, as I mentioned, we have two animated vehicles and two animulated vehicles and then two simulated vehicles. This, of course, is our two simulated vehicles, which when you click on each one of those over to the right here, you get a dialog which includes all the many things that you can do with that. I refer you to the My First Project, some other intro videos that'll show you how to work with simulated vehicles. Then we also have animated vehicles, and when you click on them, you notice that they bring up a position and orientation of that for the 4 steps. With animation, you set a couple of positions, and then the program interpolates between them. So we have one which is this van, and then we have one which is this BMW. If we go to another position here, up above, you see where the BMW's first position is here at minus 15 and plus 100. And then its second position is here, minus 15 and minus 160. For the van in the animation, we have its initial position at minus 172 and minus 8. And then 4 positions, as you can see here. How we first add an animated vehicle is by basically adding other model, where you pick out a model either in DXF or MD3, and we will show you those steps in a few minutes. We just wanted to show you a summary of these items first. Now on the animulated, what you do is it's basically very similar to the animated, but the vehicle actually sees the terrain so that it'll follow the terrain, so it gives a more realistic view of the vehicle. In this instance, we have a car that we just randomly started at a position here, and when you click on that car, it brings up this animulated, and that happens to be the second vehicle, so I guess we should look at the first vehicle we did. First vehicle was this vehicle, which we decided we'll have it come jump up, kind of do a little ramp jump. You go and you can pick your vehicle and set the specs, and you can also pick the graphics model, just like you picked the graphics model for simulation. And then you put in your positions and you put in a time factor. So you put in the initial positions, which is right here, at 82 minus 90, and put in initial velocity, and then how long you want it to run, and then what the heading angle is, and then where you want that second point to be. And then in this particular one, we did 3, so we did a third point, which is further off over here. So we have 3 points. And then when you're done, you can actually put in steering, which we didn't in this one, or braking, and we may add this in a later part of this. And then once you're done, you hit apply. And what it does is then run a simulation for the 2 or 3 or however many segments you have, so that the vehicle tries to match your initial and end position and follow the terrain accordingly. When you close this, then it will run that, and you can see it run and react with the jump and go to its rest position, or go to its final position. It may not be rest because you've set a speed. We did the same thing with vehicle 2 here. You see, again, you pick your vehicles, and we started it up on the road and then finished it down on the bottom. We set an initial speed, and then we set a duration. So then that one, same, you apply it so that the simulation runs. We close that, and then we run it. So to show you how easy it is to add or remove those, I'm going to remove all four and add new ones. So now let's go ahead and remove some of these. All you have to do is you click on the vehicle, you say delete. Click on the vehicle, delete. Animulated vehicle, yes we do. And our last animulated, we say delete. Now if we go to our overhead, let's start with putting a car similar to the van, but let's go ahead and just pick a different vehicle. Toyota Corolla. You have to set, it looks like that's millimeters because of the scale. It's got to decide what it is. That looks a little too far. Still doesn't do it. Set a factor. Now we have the vehicle. Now we simply, let's take it and move it back. Maybe minus 100. And recall, if we go down to ground level, you see that it's under the ground because this is animation. So let's put it at about 2 feet. Looks good. 2.1 maybe. And then let's decide a secondary point. So go back to overhead. And we click here to add one. And so now we make this one at plus 100. And we make this frame 130, let's just say. So that means between 0 and 140, it'll move that much. So now if we actually just watch the simulation, there it moves per the animated inputs. Now just obviously we can do the other vehicle. It's just putting in positions. You can put in more than one position. But let's go to animulated. Animulated, we go ahead to add one. We can pick objects, we can pick models, whatever, but we'll just pick a Ford Aerostar. Brings in the specs, which we can double check and say Aerostar. I'm going to say OK. Now just for fun, we know those two cars are coming at us. So we're going to rotate it a little. Have this run off the road before them. And so we'll say a 3-second duration. Have it going 40 miles an hour. And we'll figure our secondary position. Two ways that I do this is one, as you run the simulation, it'll show you where it would go so you could make it in approximately the position you want. Oops, wrong way. Minus 45. And then to see how it runs, we just say apply. It runs the simulation. Then when we close it, we can just run our, I'm going to use the bar here. And you see that pink box there is showing you where the actual simulated vehicle would go. And just to make it look more realistic, I can actually just take this and move it. We're going to have it so that vehicle stays there. But for now, we're just going to take it and move it. To about the same place as the simulation. And we're probably going to have it so that you can basically simulated. So this is a way to add additional vehicles that only interact with themselves. So now if we say apply, we come over to ground level. We have to close this for it to show. And let's go ahead and turn off the box first and let's watch what it looks like. And then if we want to see what the other vehicle would look like, go back to segment 1, click on it, say show box. There it is. You see we're not bad, so let's go to overhead one more time. Let's move that over. And apply. Close. Go back to that view of ours. Well, let's turn off the box. You see how you can add vehicles. Witness vehicles, vehicles that just happen to run off the road but aren't interacting with anything. But there's a quick way that you can add either an animated, where you set the elevation of the vehicle, or animulated, where it actually reacts to the terrain. Hope this brief introduction has given you a few ideas, and we're planning on adding a lot of extensions and refinements to this option, but I appreciate you watching. Thank you.